These days, it is hard to imagine what life would be like if there were no sofas or chairs and we had to live and work on mats instead. But 1500 years ago, the ancestors didn't just sit on the floor, they had to kneel on the floor. Imagine how that must have felt. You could kneel with your torso upright, or you can sit back on your ankles. This latter posture is called jizuo. It has a lot to do with the clothes people wore back then. Pants, trousers, let alone underwear of any sort, were unknown back then. Instead, the upper body was clothed in something called yi, whereas the lower body was covered with a skirt-like garment known as a chang. This complete outfit, a combination of the two, is known as yi shang. Sitting on the floor with your legs apart was considered very impolite in those days. In fact, this kind of immodest posture is known as juzuo. A classic story from the Han Dynasty touches on this. The story tells how Mencius informs his mother that he wants to divorce his wife. The reason? Apparently, he didn't approve of the way she sat on the floor. He had seen her sitting on the floor in the open-legged sitting posture. Mencius's mother, however, tells him that respectful husbands let their wives know when they are about to enter the room. The idea of divorce is dropped. Interestingly, the practice of sitting on the floor is still widespread in other Asian cultures. The Japanese tatami is a variant of the mat. Is it possible that these Japanese postures can give us a sense of how our ancestors lived? Sitting on one's heels is as old as the mat itself. Various rules and etiquettes governing sitting this way have emerged. Although it is not difficult to get used to sitting on the floor like this, if it has to be done for extended periods of time, it can be tiring, especially for the elderly. The armrest came into being in order to deal with this problem. In this painting, you can see several different sitting postures, as well as the armrest that the elder man uses. Fu Sheng risked his life during Shen Shihuan's Great Confucian Purge when he hid his collection of classical texts. He began lecturing on these classics at the age of 90 after the ascension of Emperor Wen of the Han Dynasty to the throne. Fu Sheng's daughter relays his words for him. The 90-year-old is also apparently indifferent to the correctness of his own sitting posture, and he is supported by an armrest. Over time, the armrest continued to evolve. Semicircular ones emerged, as well as wide, broad ones, somewhat similar in form and function to today's tea tables.